Something strange happened to the sun, and we saw it first as a number on our screens, the count of tiny particles coming from the sun's center. Scientists call them neutrinos. We use them to check what is happening deep inside the sun. One night, that count fell almost to zero. Not in one lab, in every lab. We checked our tools, then our backups, then secret stations. Same result. The sun still looked bright, still hot, but inside it was going quiet. If a star is dying, it usually gives signs. It swells, it flares, it changes. We saw none of that. It felt less like an accident and more like a switch being turned. People panicked. Markets fell. Power systems shook. In cities, people stood outside and looked up, waiting for the daylight to fail. In the desert, a hidden detector was turned on. It could see deeper than the public network. On its screen, the sun's center showed a dark circle. Clean, round, wrong. The computer flagged it in red. Rupture detected. Operators zoomed in. The data did not look like a crack. It looked like a door, and it was pulling energy away from our sun like a drain. A door to another place. We built models. One idea fit. The door led to a space next to ours, a parallel world, a place that needed power, and it found it inside our star. Dr. Sato said, "Something is draining it." Dr. Reyes said, "Then it's not dying, it's being used." We sent a small team. Commander Vale led them. Sensors first, then people. In the airlock, the checklist lights blinked faster and faster. They crossed the door. On the other side, there were no stars, no warm light, just a dark space with strange lines in the air, like a web. Then we got a weak transmission, full of noise, but we heard this. This place wasn't empty, it was waiting. After that message, the sun brightened a little. Not a flare, more like a breath. Days later, the particle count came back in pulses. On, off, on, like the door was still open. So we watch, and we prepare, because if it opens wider, we may not get a second warning. A doorway opened in space. We called it the universe next door. Our ship moved closer, very slowly. The ship entered the bright crack. Light rippled around the hull. The trip felt smooth, silent, and strange. We stepped onto a new world. Grey dust under our boots. A pale purple sky above us. No wind, no noise. A tool slipped from a hand. It fell, but it did not hit hard. It landed gently, like the world was careful. We worked fast. Domes grew bigger. Panels unfolded. Everyone moved like they already knew what to do. We felt safe for a moment. Then the clocks disagreed. One watch ran ahead, one ran behind. Time here did not behave like time on Earth. We checked again. Then we saw beauty. Water floated above the riverbed. It flowed in the air like a clear ribbon. It looked impossible, but it was real. At night, the sky glowed. Soft aurora lights moved like smoke. They changed a little when we moved. We stared in wonder. Inside the dome, we recorded a message for Earth. We said, "We are alive. We are building a home." We hit send, but the sunrise stayed too long. The day did not want to end. Long shadows stretched across the ground. Something was starting to feel wrong. Then the fear began. A person moved, and the shadow moved first. Like it knew what would happen, it did not stop. We watched the stars. If we stared, the stars slowly changed places. The sky shifted, quiet and wrong, confused. After that, our memories broke. People remembered the same day in different ways. Even our notes did not match. We started to argue. We replayed the video, frame by frame. Just before the door opened, the hallway light leaned toward it. The air felt tense. Then we shared the same dream. A bright room, a glass wall. Something behind the glass was watching us. We were not alone. In the lab, we saw a pattern. When we watched this world, it became more stable. When we stopped, it weakened. Now, at night, the dome lights flickered like a heartbeat. Darkness pressed close, like the world wanted to come in. The darkness waited. In the end, we saw the worst sign. A reflection smiled a moment too late, like it was learning our faces, and it learned from us. The first sign wasn't the cold, it was the color. Daylight turned thin, like a dying bulb. Shadows stopped moving the way we remembered, and then, at noon, the sun looked tired. We called it a final dimming, as if naming it could make it manageable. Telescopes confirmed what our skin already knew. The sun was failing. In the last month, cities became museums of light. Windows taped with reflective film, streets lit by rationed lamps, people standing under LEDs like they were campfires. And while the world argued about miracles and blame, the scientists kept listening. The signal we found didn't come from space, it came from the sun. Not a message in words, an engineering signature, a deliberate pattern inside the solar wind. Hidden in it was the map of a rupture between universes, a door. At first, we thought it was salvation. Then we understood what it really was, an escape route built by the thing we had always mistaken for indifferent. The models converged on a conclusion no one wanted to speak aloud. The sun hadn't ruptured reality by accident, it had done it on purpose. Because it had detected us. Not our radios, not our rockets. Us, the pressure we placed on the fabric of the universe simply by becoming intelligent, by multiplying our choices, by bending probability into tools. Two realities were grinding against each other, and the rupture was the only valve keeping them from tearing completely. But the valve could not stay open. If it did, both universes would slowly collapse. Cities and oceans and histories unraveling, not in an explosion, but in a long, final wrongness. So the sun gave humanity an option. Not a rescue, a trade. The passage could carry only a fragment of us into the other side. Not everyone, never everyone. And then came the decision. Close the rupture and let Earth fall into darkness, or keep it open and condemn two realities to die together. We voted, not as heroes, as a species forced to choose which kind of ending it could live with. The rupture was sealed. The sky tore, and then it healed. The last ships vanished into a silence that felt like prayer. For a moment, Earth was almost perfectly dark. Then a pale ember returned, a weak light but alive. We didn't survive the end of the world. We survived by ending one. And when that first fragile sunrise touched the horizon, we finally understood. Sometimes saving everything means choosing what you will let go.